Sharing this live stream.
Are we in?
Spinning, yes, we are in.
All right. Good morning, everyone. We don't have any public comment today, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. Leanne, we'll call the roll.
Okay. Nick.
Here.
Jake.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Leanne's here. Christine.
Here.
Pam.
Here. Great. Let the minutes show that a quorum is present. The agenda is before you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll motion. I'll second.
Great. It has been motioned and seconded to approve the meeting agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. The agenda has been approved. Next order of business is to review and approve the minutes from our March 13th work session. Do people have a chance to look at the minutes? Great. Any changes or suggestions or things that were inaccurate? All right. So the question is on the approval of the minutes from the work session March 13th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The work session minutes have been approved. Next order of business is to review and vote on the minutes from the regular March 13th board meeting. Anything found? Okay. All right, so the question is on the approval of the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The regular meeting minutes have been approved for March 13th. All right, we're gonna move on. Thank you. Oh, goodness. We're gonna move into our committee reports, starting with governance.
The only news I have is that everybody's completed the 5 hours except Mr. Lujan, but he's working on it. He's only got 2 hours to go.
2 hours to go.
Yep.
All right.
I got
Oh,
a
pretty
report.
good. All right, rate, and then obviously no audit updates. And so we're gonna move into the financial report. And I know Ashley is out today at the Business Leaders Conference. And so are you gonna walk us
Yeah,
through?
yeah. So the finance committee met yesterday and went through these reports in depth. But the highlights are that our revenues are operating as anticipated. We've received about 70% of projections to date, which is right on track. We've received all of the revenue that we're due this month. SEG transportation, food services, universal free lunch, and then our state HB 33 and SB 9 allocations. There is a bar included that I'll go over at the end, but that relates to the universal free lunch allocations. Our operational fund continues to operate in a surplus of just over $236,000, which is great. So we anticipate about that amount for carryover. And there aren't any significant changes to POs. We're going through at this point in the year and making sure that everything lines up with what we anticipate spending, and then we'll close POs that don't need to be encumbered any longer, so that we get a closer measure of what that carryover might be for next year. We are in the process of placing orders to spend our special capital outlay funding, which is meant for playground equipment, upgrading or continuing to add cameras and security throughout the school, to make sure that we spend enough money and also get what we need to.
What are you getting? It's mostly cameras.
Cameras, because there are certain places in the school where we don't have cameras and need them, and it's always where things we want to see. So we're going to add that dimension to the security network, and then equipment for outside. So we want to add like some basketball hoops that are removable. We want to add like just other play equipment. There's these little like cabana huts for the littles that you want to put on that side, walk on this far side. So they have like just other things
Little
that they can
pretend
play.
play stuff.
Because they love like all of those like Melissa and Doug like play
Yeah,
things.
so
They will
little,
spend
yeah, that's-
all day playing with those. So we just
Yeah.
are gonna buy a ton more just play equipment. So and also I think that helps us on the recruiting side too. Since we don't have a huge,
Yeah.
like you can look at Chavez playground and then you can look at ours and it's like, wah, wah. But hopefully, you know, the kids are always busy. So that's what we're spending that down. And then bank account register activity, we received in more deposits and withdrawals this month. And everything is reconciled through the bank. Is it in the reports?
I did review it yesterday. All looks good.
And then the bar that's on the agenda for today is an increased bar for the universal free lunch state funded food services. And it's in the amount of $8,117. And that's because we have received in more state allocation funding than we had projected. And so this bar will clean up that amount for this past month and then just make the correction for the last couple months of this year. Is the financial report.
All right, any questions about the financial report or the bar before we vote? All right, so the question is on the bar number 211.
Yeah, 21I.
Okay, oh yes, okay. In the amount of 8,117 $8,117. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it, that bar has been approved. The next order of business is our consent agenda. Wait, you did that one, is for the school year calendar.
So the calendars that are in the packet are for, we have 180 school days. The first day of school is Wednesday, August 6th. And which is one day earlier than Albuquerque Public Schools. And then the last day of school would be Thursday, May 28th, which is the same day as Albuquerque Public Schools. The calendars have the same fall break, federal holidays, winter break, and spring break to match GPS. So yeah, hopefully that'll make life easy. And then there are days allocated in for conferences, for teacher professional development conferences that will just be determined based on travel. And the total number of hours is 1,141 and a half hours, which meets the requirement for the state. So we do have to put all of our days into the state provided template just to make sure everything checks out, but we did most of those numbers as we could. So hopefully we won't need to make any adjustments. So that's the calendar. So we do have two versions because there are two conferences we're considering. And so we would just be asking the board to approve either calendar because they total the same number of professional development.
And are you gonna publish both of the, are you just gonna decide?
We'll decide
Okay.
and then we'll publish.
Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise it's too confusing for students to have to make plans.
Yeah.
figure out.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Great. Any questions about either of these calendars before we vote? All right, so the question is on the approval of two versions of the calendar for the 25-26 school year. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, the ayes have it. Both calendars have been approved. Right. Next up, we have the lease amendment.
The lease amendment covers a slight change to our school lease over the next 2 years, just to support some of the renovations that we're doing at the school.
Any questions about the lease amendment before we go? All right, so the question is on the approval of the updated lease amendment over the next 2 years. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The lease amendment has been approved. And then next up is a vote, an update on the acceptable use, school acceptable use policy for technology.
So as per recently passed legislation SB 11, we updated the wireless communication device acceptable use policy to include the definition of a wireless communication device. And then in addition to our provision prohibiting the use of personally owned devices by students, we just added that if a device is needed to manage a student's healthcare or medical needs, or to provide accommodations in a student's individualized education plan, that can't be provided through a school device, that we would allow that use if approved by the school directors. So that's the provision to meet the needs of SB 11.
I like that you put, there's the thing, just like any technology that doesn't exist yet is also.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
To move fast.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, any questions about the changes? Great, so we're gonna vote. All those in favor of the new update to the policy, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the ayes have it. The acceptable use policy updates have been approved. Next up is looking at the school bylaws change. If there is low or no board membership.
So the low or no board membership provisions for replacing the governing board is the proposed language states that if the governing board membership drops below 5 members but still has at least 3 members, within 30 days of dropping below 5 members, the remaining board members select and vote on candidates in a meeting following the Open Meetings Act. And then if there's no board membership or below 3 members, then within 10 days of dropping below 3 members, the school's directors have to develop the process to identify candidates. And then within 10 days after that, dropping below 3 members, we'll post the meeting according to the Open Meetings Act, where the candidates will appoint themselves or elect themselves the same way that we actually did when we were founding the board. Everybody kind of voted for themselves to be the board. And so that's how the school will address low or no board membership.
All right, I think we're safe, but all right, so the vote is on the new provisions, the bylaws change. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Right, the ayes have it. The bylaws change has been approved. All right, next up is equity council report.
And we have an equity council meeting on the 24th of this month, and it will be to go over the budget.
All right, next up is the co-director report.
We are holding our lottery on Friday, so tomorrow. And as of yesterday, or the day before, we had 345 applications.
Wow. Holy cow.
That's a lot of applications.
Special.
Yeah, and we have 57, which I just heard maybe 60 available spots. So yeah, it's like a 17% admit rate. So yeah, we've had a lot of a lot of interest. We held 3 tours, open houses for parents that were all attended by about, between 60, about 60 people each. Yeah, so, and then after the lottery on the 25th, so families have a week to determine. And then the week after on the 25th, we're gonna have kindergarten orientation open house where families can come and we'll kind of go through some of the more nitty gritty things that we don't necessarily put in the welcome tour, but here's how we do lunch, here's what you can do to help get your kid get ready, that type of thing.
So they can decide.
Yeah, and I mean, they'll have to decide by the 18th, but I mean, they
But
can
then they
also
can
always,
enroll.
yeah, if they want to, here's something they don't like, and it still gives us plenty of time to fill spots. This year, we are moving our registration process a little faster, we're gonna require families to complete their registration by May, because then that gives us more time to review them and fill spots before the school year ends, where before doing it over the summer made it a lot harder for us to get such as people are traveling, get a hold of them. So we're hoping this way we'll be able to fill those spots a little bit more efficiently when people decline. So, because people are, I think 345 is a lot, but I also know that parents are looking at and applying to a lot more schools now.
Yeah.
And so that's not we're not everybody's first choice, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But so we are gonna get some declines, which is expected, but yeah, we've never had over 300 applications before, so it's it's a lot, so, which is says something about the demand for the school, which is good. So that's the biggest update. I think it's we'll run the lottery, run it electronically through Power School, and then families will get an email notification that they can log in and go check their status, and then we'll go from there. Then they'll receive, once they accept, then they receive their registration all online. So everything is happening pretty quickly. Yeah. And I think that's
Just the data dashboard.
the data dashboard. Thank you. Our school-wide data are looking very good. We've gone from 67% proficient or advanced in reading at the beginning of the year to 80% proficient or advanced, which is that level 4 or 5 on iStation. So 80% of all our kids school-wide are proficient in reading. And then in math, that number has gone from 73% in August to 86% this last round in April. And our kiddos are taking their state tests this week and next week. And attendance has kind of stayed steady, improved a little bit from last month. We're about 96% attendance rate. Our highest rates of chronically absent kids are in 5th grade. There's 4 of them. A hard time coming to school. And the other grades have about 1 or 2. So, and our best attendance rate is 3rd grade. Yeah. 3rd grade followed by 4th grade, and they correlate. I mean, their scores correlate to their attendance rate, shockingly enough. So, yeah, that's where we are data-wise. And we're at 261 kids. We haven't had any changes in enrollment since January.
Any questions for Megan and Lisa? Okay, good job. Yeah, very exciting. All right, so is there a motion to adjourn? I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Sounds like it.
Great. The meeting is adjourned at 9:22 a.m.
Thanks, Matt.